all these muscles in my glutes and my quads and my hamstrings, all contracting to help me do that motion correctly. Hi, I'm Mark McKillier. This is Live Anabolic. Have you seen me before? All right, so today I want to talk about how to do a real simple at-home workout that's going to really help your body produce more testosterone. So, guys, when it comes to boosting our testosterone levels through working out, okay, I'm talking about resistance training, I'm talking about doing compound movements, and I'm talking about doing, pretty heavy weights and pushing yourself hard, lots of intensity, okay? So this has nothing to do with high reps, cardio, high intensity interval training. This is about lifting heavy weights with lots of different muscles, lots of different joints, working at the same time, and those are compound movements, guys. So 4 different movements today. I'm going to show you. They're all real basic stuff that you've seen and done before, but I just kind of like to go back through them and then talk a little bit about the form and the mind-muscle connection and what's really going on. Why is that helping us produce more testosterone? But before I get to those movements, I just really want to remind you about our Facebook group, guys. Click the link below. It is a fantastic group of guys. We're talking about thousands and thousands of guys all over the world exactly like you. All right, so no young whippersnappers in there, no women. It's just a bunch of old farts, like us. And it's not just about exercising, guys. So there's tons of really great information in there about nutrition and guys that are getting hurt, that have joint pain. I'm answering the questions because I'm the moderator. I'm in the group almost every single day. And then also all the other guys, around the world helping motivate one another. There's guys posting progress pictures. You don't have to. All right, that's the other thing, guys. Don't shy away from this group because you don't like Facebook. That's not a good reason. I don't like Facebook. You don't even have to use your real name. You don't even have to put a picture of yourself if you don't want to. All right, just join the group and sit back and just absorb all the good vibes. Fantastic information, great guys on there, best fitness group on all of Facebook. Okay, so you're gonna notice one theme today, and that is these are gonna be exercises that recruit lots of muscles, especially big muscle groups. And the reason is, guys, when we use lots of muscles at the same time, it puts stress on the body, okay? And that stress actually does send signals to your brain, and it tells your brain to ramp up its production of testosterone. It knows that you're damaging muscle fibers and it needs more testosterone to help repair those muscle fibers. And of course, there's all these other things that you need to do, including eating lots of protein on a regular basis, because high T levels is pretty much worthless if you're not getting plenty of protein. But that's not what this video is about. Today is about picking 4 really good exercises to increase your testosterone at home with nothing but some dumbbells. So guys, the first thing I'm going to show you is the goblet squat. So, our legs are the biggest muscle group in our body. And anytime we do a squat or a lunge, we're using lots of different muscles at the same time. I'm using my quads, hamstrings, my glutes, all right? Those are big muscles. The other thing is, when I'm squatting, especially if I'm holding some weight, I'm having to really engage my core. I'm having to tense. So that's even more muscles that are being used when you do a squat. So several different ways to do it. This is a goblet squat. Now guys, remember, I'm talking about trying to use as much weight as you can with good form. Now don't just jump into this like I'm about to. Now the reason I'm about to do this without warming up is because I'm using a really light weight. Okay, this is just for demonstration purposes. I want to be able to show you the form and be able to talk, okay, while I'm doing it. So if I was actually doing this at the gym, I might be using 80 to 100 pound dumbbells, because remember, lots of big muscles, which means we can lift a lot of weight. All right, so you guys at home are not going to have 100 pound dumbbells. Which means, though, that after you warm up and you get everything ready to go, I do want you to use probably the heaviest dumbbell that you have at home, okay? Because I guarantee you, you'll be able to do it, all right? You'll be able to handle that kind of weight. So, goblet squats are just that. I'm just gonna hold the dumbbell, okay, under the flanges. all right? And hold it up against your chest. So if you have it out here just a little bit, it's gonna put a lot of stress on your shoulders, okay? And you won't be able to lift as heavy of a dumbbell, okay? So get it in here close and kind of push it against your chest. And now you'll be able to handle and control heavier weight. And then guys, you know, the squatting movement is really just a straight up and down thing. So if you guys have bad backs, or if this tends to bother your back, this is what I want you to think. The very first move to initiate the exercise, stick your butt out. That's it. So if you just stick your butt out first, everything else just tends to kind of go in the right order, all right? If you tend to bend your knees first like this, it can make you bend over a little bit more than you want. So stick your butt out, and then boom, straight down and straight back up. Now look at my elbows. This is what I like to do. I like to go down until my elbows touch my thighs. Now I feel like I've made a really good full range of motion here. I'm pretty deep. I mean, you can go technically deeper and get those elbows inside, all right? But I don't think you need to go down this deep, okay? So butt out, right there, touch, up, touch, up. Now look at my eyes. So I've just picked a spot on the wall straight ahead of me. And I'm just staring at that spot. And I'm just feeling, mentally feeling, all these muscles in my glutes and my quads and my hamstrings all contracting to help me do that motion correctly. So remember, I'm basically activating pretty much every muscle from my waist down, and I have to activate my core and my lower back muscles also, because I have this weight up here. And that just naturally occurs when you hold anything up here. You have to engage your core, otherwise you just bend over like a limp noodle. So goblet squats are great, but guys, you need to do more than 20 or 30 pounds, okay? So if you don't have really heavy dumbbells at home, I want you to try using 2 dumbbells, okay, instead, and do a much more conventional squat. So you're gonna have them at your sides like this. And once again, the first movement is butt out, and then straight down and straight back up. Down and back. Now, that would be 2 dumbbells, all right? And that's for guys that don't have a really heavy single dumbbell. But look around, get on Craigslist. See if you can find somebody who's willing to sell some cheap dumbbells that are really heavy. And you may only use them for this one exercise. I don't know. But if you can find something cheap locally, make the investment. It'll last forever. Okay, so the second exercise, we're gonna hit some upper body muscles, and your chest is one of those big muscle groups, okay? And so I'm gonna be doing some real basic dumbbell chest presses. And I'm gonna be on a bench. Now, some of you guys aren't gonna have a bench at home. That's fine, you could do it on the floor. And if you're on the floor, I encourage you, grab a cushion off your couch, put it under your back. That way your back will be elevated a few inches off the ground, and you'll have a better range of motion when you go down. Otherwise, your elbows are gonna hit the ground, okay, when they get parallel with your back. But if you got a cushion under your back will be elevated, and your elbows will be able to go slightly deeper, all right, than the plane of your back, and you'll get more range of motion, okay? So when I'm on a bench like this, of course, I don't have to deal with that problem. And guys, these benches are really inexpensive. I mean, you can, if the cheap ones are only 70 or 80 bucks on Amazon. Now, I urge you, don't get the cheapest ones, but I think I paid $110 for this bench, and it'll last the rest of my life. And it's on Amazon, and there's tons of them on Amazon to choose from, and you can get them, practically next day a lot of times. So the reason why these dumbbell chest presses are good for our testosterone levels is, once again, it's a compound movement, okay? I'm gonna be using multiple muscle groups and multiple joints at the same time. And people don't realize when you're doing a chest press, everybody seems to think and for good reason. I'm focused on building big pecs, right? And you're looking at these two muscles right here. But in reality, when you're doing this movement, we're using muscles in our shoulders, okay? And we're using muscles in our back. Most people don't realize that. But you are using some of your back muscles, some of your lats, all right, are engaging when you're pushing. So hence, lots of muscles are being used at the same time. And anytime you're straightening your arm, and that's what we're doing here, you have to use your triceps, okay? So that's a lot of different muscles being used at the same time. That's what makes it a compound. And of course, that also is what makes it call upon higher testosterone levels of production, all right? Because your body just knows, I need some help when it comes to rebuilding these muscles that we're gonna be tearing down. So just like those goblet squats I showed you a second ago, these are some pretty big muscle grips. So guys, I urge you, get some heavier dumbbells, okay? If all you have are 20-pound dumbbells at home, that's not gonna be enough, I guarantee you. I mean, maybe the first 3 weeks, all right, if you've never worked out in your life, but real quickly, you're gonna get stronger and stronger. You're gonna need much, much heavier weight than that. Now, guys, I'm not using real heavy weights right now, okay? So I don't wanna be a hypocrite, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So I want you to use a weight that is so heavy that it is difficult to do with good form for 8 to 12 reps. All right, so if you can get to 12 reps and know that you could have done another 5 or 10 reps, it's not heavy enough, okay? And if it's not heavy enough, then you're not gonna get as much testosterone production out of this exercise as you could if you invested in heavier weights, all right? So guys, straight up here, and I apologize, this is a lot of talking for this one simple movement, all right? But I really wanted to get across several different things here. So if you don't know, if you're doing full range of motion, all right, when I come down here, that's as far as my shoulders want to let the dumbbells go, all right? Now, I still am lucky enough that I don't have any shoulder problems, so I can get pretty deep. The other thing is, look at the flanges. They're almost hitting my shoulders. They're almost, boom. I can actually get there once I warm up and stretch out. And at the top of the movement, guys, don't come together. Because when I do this, now I've taken a lot of the weight off of my chest, and it's being carried just by the bones and my joints, my elbows and shoulders. It's coming straight down through my arms. Now, it's not hurting my joints, but I'm just saying, from a physics standpoint, there's not a lot of stress on the muscles. Right here, all of a sudden, I can feel it. I can feel my chest having to flex to hold that weight up there. So guys, it's not just about doing heavy weight. It's about using really good form and thinking of those two little things I'll mention there. Don't bring the dumbbells all the way together at the top of the movement, and go as deep as your shoulders will allow you. Okay, the third exercise today is a bent over row. So when we're doing a rowing movement, we're really focusing on our back. And guys, your back, I think, is comprised of 17 different muscle groups. And they overlay each other. They overlap each other. They're really just kind of going all over the place. If you've ever seen a muscular diagram of the back, it's just absolutely wild looking. It's actually really cool. But because we're using so many muscles and they're pretty big, you can lift a lot of weight with this particular exercise. So once again, the theme today is heavier weight, right? And the reason we're doing heavier weight simply is because the type of exercises. We're using lots of muscles and they're big muscle groups. Hence, you can lift a lot of weight just naturally, okay? So I'm gonna show you 2 different ways to do it, and you guys can pick which way feels best for you, all right? And I'm gonna explain the pros and cons of these 2 different methods. So the first way is just a single arm bent over row, okay? And you can brace yourself on your off knee and just focus on bringing your elbow back towards your hip, Don't bring it straight up like this. You want to basically feel like you're bringing the dumbbell backwards as you raise your elbow. And the other thing is, guys, the mind-muscle connection is focus on your elbow. Lift your elbow up. Don't worry about the dumbbell. Don't worry about your hand. If you bring your elbow back up here towards your side, towards your hip, the dumbbell will just follow along. Now, you know, obviously we're doing one arm at a time. And once again, guys, I was telling you, you can do a heavy weight here. This is not a heavy weight for me, okay? If I was at the gym, I would be doing probably triple what I'm doing right now, all right? So, I don't have 90-pound dumbbells at home, okay? You probably don't either, right? So, this is another way where you can kind of trick your body into making the weight feel heavier than it really is. Two ways here, guys. Go really slow and pause at the top. So 1, 2, 3. Slow down. 1, 2, 3. Slow down. All right? So control the negative part of the movement just as much as you control the upward part of the movement, okay? And then for you guys that want to try this, this is a little tougher, okay? And it's going to put more stress on your lower back. Because when you're doing one arm at a time, okay, I can brace my entire upper body with my offside arm, okay? So basically, my lower back is not carrying much weight. Even though I might be doing a really heavy dumbbell, most of my upper body is being braced with my left elbow in this case. But if you do both dumbbells at the same time, you can't brace your upper body, all right? So once again, I'm gonna do some bent over rows, but I wanna make sure I stick my butt back and keep my back really nice and straight, all right? Now see how my knees are pretty bent here? And I'm just, and the mistake I see guys do at the gym, because they like to try to impress other people watching them, they'll use too much weight and they will yank it up, like that. You're not getting much out of it. So pull the weight up and control it. And if the weight's still not heavy enough, do the time under tension trick. 1, 2, 3, control down, control up. 1, 2, 3, slow down. All right, guys. Lots of muscles are being used there, not just in your back, but anytime you're bringing your elbow back like that, you're also using your biceps. So compound movements are the key to increasing testosterone, and this is a great example. All right, you're probably begging for the last exercise. Tired of watching me tell you what to do? All right, let's do it. Number 4, Romanian deadlifts. These are also referred to as stiff-legged deadlifts, which is kind of weird because you're not doing it with the stiff legs. All right, so this is a great compound movement. Once again, because we're using muscles in our lower body, all right, big muscles, but this time we're focusing primarily on our hamstrings and our glutes. Now, because of the exercise and the mechanics itself, we're also going to be using a lot of our core, okay? Some of our lower back muscles are going to be used. And guys, if you're using a lot of weight, and of course I'm encouraging you guys to use as much weight as you can do with good form, all right? This is potentially an exercise where you could actually hurt your back. So be sure and warm up good before you do this. And warming up good means do this exact same exercise with light weight. All right, so start off with some really light dumbbells, do 10, 12 reps, put them down, then increase the weight, all right? But keep the weight still light relative to what you're gonna finish using, okay? So once you've warmed everything up and your body is prepared, this is a great exercise, especially if you have some heavy dumbbells, guys. And I'm gonna do them kind of from an angle here so you can see me from the side. All right, so Romanian deadlifts are similar to a squat, guys, but we're gonna try to keep our knees straighter, okay? And this is, you know, just like a goblet squat, I like to think of the first initiating move of the exercise is stick my butt out. So I stick my butt out, and then I let my waist hinge and come down. Now my knees are bent, all right, but my butt isn't dropping real low. So my butt's staying pretty high. And then what I want to do here is try to flex my glutes and my hamstrings to bring myself up. So butt out, back straight, and then flex. And guys, really practice this at home. Now I'm going to put these down so I can talk to you. I want to use my hands. So when you're at the bottom of the movement here, okay, my knees are bent, but I'm still trying to keep my butt up nice and high. And when the dumbbells are in your hands here, you're gonna feel a lot of weight stretching your hamstrings. It's gonna be pulling you down. And the only thing keeping your upper body from going even further are your hamstrings and your glutes. They're getting tight. Now to stand back up, I don't want you to, don't focus on contracting your lower back muscles, okay? So a lot of people, they tend to use their back to stand up. Just try this. You can even try this with no weights in your hand, just to get that mind-muscle connection. So you're down here, you're in the proper position. Now pretend like you're squeezing your ass and your hamstrings together. Like at the same time, you're trying to squeeze your butt cheeks together, okay? Almost like, and this is kind of funny, almost like you got a credit card in your ass and you're trying to squeeze that credit card together with your butt cheeks. Because when you do that, when you squeeze your glutes together, you can feel it flex here and you can feel your hamstrings, and that just naturally raises your torso. So guys, it's kind of a weird movement in that it can look identical, but I could be using different muscle groups and you won't be able to know looking at me. Only I know, the person doing the movement, can tell which muscles are actually being activated, because those are the ones I'm focusing on. So guys, you have to really focus on not just doing the form correctly, but you have to focus on flexing your hamstrings and your ass. If you focus on flexing your glutes and squeezing your butt together, all right, that'll just, boop, it'll just make your upper body pop up. You do that and you start to get the feel of it, man, it will instantly register in your brain. I promise, guys, it'll be a huge difference in the way it feels. So start with some light weights, okay? Go through the movement and do it until you can really feel the tension in your ass and your hamstrings. Then you know you're doing it right. You do that, and I promise you're gonna feel it the next day in a good way, because your ass and your hamstrings are gonna be sore. And of course, that's what we're shooting for. That soreness means we're damaging the muscle fibers, and that's the whole point. And those damaged muscle fibers send signals to our brain to ramp up testosterone production. All right, so this video was not to promote my Warrior Strong workout program. I promise, I just put that up there. But in that program, we do use a lot of big compound movements that are great for boosting your testosterone. So it's not about that. It's really about these 4 exercises I showed you today. And guys, please focus on the form and really worry about the mind-muscle connection, because some of these exercises actually require you to focus more than a typical, because I can do a curl and I don't have to focus on my biceps. Just as long as I'm doing the right form, it's gonna be exclusively hitting that muscle that I want. But some of these other exercises I showed you today, if you're not really paying attention to the muscle group you're trying to hit, you'll end up involving all kinds of other little weird, stabilizer muscles and everything like that that won't accomplish what we're really trying to do today. And that is get those big muscles involved and get that testosterone up. So remember, guys, if you do these exercises and stick with it, you will see really good results.